You are going to be out of your classroom and you have a substitute teacher coming. What are some of the most important things that you need to communicate to the substitute teacher so everything can go smoothly and efficiently? I'm going to share those tips with you in this video. I am a public school administrator and I worked as a classroom teacher for a number of years before going into administration. And this is the Efficiency and Organization YouTube channel. I share a lot of information that's very helpful, useful, great advice, great strategies. And one of them is for educators in particular. I give a lot of knowledge based on my experiences back in the classroom and also now. And so you want to subscribe to both this YouTube channel, and when you visit the website, I will have the link to the website in the description of this video. Let's talk about what you need to do to leave good information, communicate good information with a sub. The first one is, of course, the lesson, but please give as much detail as possible and time it, okay? Say, from 9 a.m. to 9:05, take attendance, for example, while kids are doing the warm-up. 9:05 to 9:30, direct instruction, and this is what these are the examples you should teach, or this is the book sections you need to read as a class. So if you can do it like in a chronological order, it's gonna save you a lot of time later having to fill in the gaps that were not addressed when you were not in the classroom. Next, make sure you tell the sub your process for what happens when the students are entering the class. So what should they do? Where should they sit? Just communicate it. I would say don't leave it up to the kids to communicate it with the sub. Give them those instructions, as far as your classroom management goes. So you can say, upon entry, students must pick up the papers from this corner of the room. They must go sit in their assigned seats. You must have the computer on so that they could see what the warm-up is, go over the day's agenda, and then blah, 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 right? Speaking of classroom management, this is extremely important. You need to let the sub know some of the issues they might encounter, okay? So for example, if you have a highly defiant student, should the sub know that? Probably, right? And what should the sub do? Because they don't have rapport with the students like you do. So if you have a student who has issues with trust and is gonna give the sub a hard time, you might wanna leave pointers for them. Do you have a student who needs to be escorted every time they go to the restroom, every time they need to go to the office? Communicate that. Do you have a student who has a 504 plan? What's in the 504 that the sub needs to know? For example, if you're telling the sub, please make sure to give the students this quiz. Fine. But what if a student on a 504 plan is allowed to use notes and the sub says, nope, you can't use notes? You have to communicate that. My suggestion is to have these sub-plans written out on a Word document and saved on either your computer or preferably a USB drive, Google Docs. So that way it's already there. You're not typing it each time you need a sub. You just have to modify a little bit, and then that way each time you have a sub, it's already there. You're not doing work each time. Next one is tell the sub what to expect if it's gonna be a weird day. As in, there's some kind of a rally, there's some sports event happening, make sure, or if there's a fire drill that's gonna take place. Next is athletics. So if the students have to leave early because they have to go for a sport or some kind of a theatrical performance, band performance, you never know. Maybe they're in your class and the sub needs to know. Communicate those names in the sub-plan. And here's the thing, you guys, you might leave 3 pages of awesome notes and insight, and the sub may not read through, right? Unfortunately. So if you come back to chaos, make sure to tell the secretary to never have that sub come back again. So I know it's difficult to find good subs, but this is the thing, you want to make sure you make arrangements in advance with the ones who do follow the instructions, so that way things can go as smoothly as possible. Lastly, let the sub know what they should be doing while the kids are working. So a lot of times, I know as teachers, we don't want the sub to necessarily teach content, right? We leave work where the kids could do their own practice, because we don't know if the sub knows our content. Like for example, if you're a choir teacher, most likely the sub doesn't know choir and can't really do anything with the kids. You're a drama teacher, you're a band teacher, you're a woodshop teacher, the sub is not going to know your content. So a lot of times I know that we leave work that's like practice for the kids, which is fine, but you have to let the sub know explicitly what they should do while the kids are working. Do you want them to walk around the room? Do you want them to be on the phone or not be on the phone? Please be sure to subscribe if you found this information to be helpful. Please let me know in the comments if there are any specific questions that you have, so that way I could share more information, and also all the other subscribers and people who watch the video can maybe offer their insights to your questions, okay? And until the next time, I'll catch you in the next video.